Welcome to the Dealmakers podcast, where we uncover the stories, strategies, and insights of top performers in the real estate industry. Today, I have the honor and privilege of sitting down with someone who's not only a powerhouse in real estate, but genuinely one of the most personable and trusted professionals I've met in this business. So our guest today is Batty, the founder of Hello Home of Compass, a top producing real estate team in Annapolis. And Betty's consistently ranked among the top agents in our region. She was named America's Best by Real Trends and is known for delivering white glove service in the luxury and waterfront markets. She's a certified negotiation expert, a top 1.5% agent nationally, and an all-around deal maker. So in today's podcast, we're going to dive into her journey from fundraising and event management to leading a high-performing real estate team, her strategies for standing out in a competitive marketplace, her insights into the Maryland luxury and waterfront scene, and of course, some fun rapid-fire questions at the end. So, Betty, welcome.
Thanks.
So, Betty, your path into real estate is pretty fascinating, and I found over doing this career for a dozen plus years, everybody comes from somewhere, so they all have a different background before they get into real estate. You had a successful career in nonprofit fundraising and event management before making the jump into real estate. What made you take that leap?
It was something I was always kind of intrigued by. My mom did it for a very short period of time when I was a kid and did not last long in it, like many maybe smart people do. And I was always intrigued by it, but I never knew if I was willing to take the jump into the real estate industry and not have that paycheck.
Yes. Yeah. That's alarming for most people when they get into it. Yes. What were some of the early challenges in that transition? Was there a moment when you kind of knew you were all in on this career?
So when I got into the career, I had 2 small kids. 1 and almost 3.
Oh boy.
And I was still working my other job full time, learning real estate, and then kind of went part time in that job and full time in real estate. And then knew that if I was going to make it go, I just needed to cut the nonprofit, job and go all in. And I did. And I think, that was January of 2012 after getting my license in May of 2010 and just needed to do it. If it didn't work, I knew I could go back into the nonprofit sector or find another career.
Yeah. Yeah. So every agent has a kind of trial by fire deal early in their career. Can you walk us through your first transaction or any lessons that still stick with you from the early days?
I think my first transactions, I was smart enough to bring a seasoned agent in on those transactions. I knew it was the right thing for the client. I also knew I would learn a lot. So my first buyer transaction, I brought a colleague in. She walked us both through everything, and they knew I was new. So that was helpful. They were a colleague of my husband's, and they were buying their first home. They had owned a condo, and they knew I was going to take care of them, but I didn't know everything. And I said, I'm going to bring a colleague in. So I did. And it was great. And then my first listing, same thing. Funny story is my first listing, I actually brought my colleague. Maybe I might have been losing my voice. Maybe I wasn't losing my voice, but I didn't want those sellers I wanted to be fair to them, but I didn't want to be like, hey, I'm brand new and I want to sell your, $850,000 house in Potomac. So I brought a colleague and I let her lead it all. And it was great. And I learned a lot, and it was the right thing for the sellers, but they didn't need to know that it was my first listing.
Right. I get that. Yeah. I totally get that. Mm-hmm. What's, so everybody kind of has like when you're first starting out, you don't know what you don't know. You get nervous and you have some kind of perception of what a real estate agent is and what they should do. And so it's almost acting at first. What's the biggest hurdle that you faced when you were starting out?
The biggest hurdle I faced when I was starting out, I wanted to know it all. And I probably, just, not saying no, or saying, I was really good about, hey, I'm not sure about that. Let me check. Let me make sure I get the right answer. One thing somebody taught me really early on was take a deep breath for 20, 30 minutes. It'll either come to you or something will change, or reach out to someone. Don't be reactive. And I think a couple times I was reactive and I was like, oh my God, that changed. Maybe the client didn't even need to know that was an issue, because 20 minutes later, it wasn't an issue because we solved it.
Yeah. Yeah. So you fast forward to today. You've built Hello Home of Compass. What was the vision behind that?
So the vision behind Hello Home was I wanted people around me that I was collaborating with daily. When Compass opened in Annapolis, it was very small. I was one of the founding agents, and I wanted to surround myself with like-minded individuals and build a small team that we would collaborate with each other. We would spend the days together. We'd be in the office together. We would take care of each other's clients if we needed to. I could, go to my kid's game and know that somebody might be available to help my clients. Also, I was new to the market.
Yeah.
I had relocated my family, 18, and then came to Compass January of 2019, and then launched Hello Home, essentially in January of 2020.
Where were you before you came to the Annapolis market?
I was in Montgomery County.
Did you like it out there?
I love Annapolis. It was great. I had my kids there. I raised my kids there for a while. It was wonderful. I mean, I spent 17 years there. It was absolutely great. I wanted water.
Yeah.
I wanted to be near water. I wanted to see water every day I walked my dogs. I wanted to enjoy time on the boat. Water makes me happy. And I wanted a little bit less traffic and a little bit of a less chaotic life. I saw what you can be chaotic wherever you are, but I knew being near the water would probably make me slow down just a tad.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's fair. Where did you start your career? Was it at Compass or was it somewhere else first?
I started my career at Coldwell Banker in Bethesda.
Okay. Nice. So Compass is known for being kind of a tech forward approach to real estate. What made you transition to Compass and how has that helped you scale or refine your business?
So I watched Compass for a long time, probably 5 years, and watched them very closely. Was very intrigued, but wanted to see how it went. I had a lot of friends transitioning to Compass. Compass was not in Annapolis when I moved here. And so I knew I wasn't an option for me. But then it was finally going to happen. And I was all in. I was all in. My friends that were at Compass at the time just raved about it. Collaboration was huge. And that is a big part of who I am. So the tech side of Compass is fantastic. The platform, everything, it can't be beat. It can't be beat. But the people, It's the culture. And I was all in from day one, and can't imagine being anywhere else. And as I tell my husband, this is my last stop. Like I have gone all in. I've never used a brokerage's email. I've never used a brokerage's platform, CRM, anything. I decided day one I was going to do it and not looking back. Compass is my last stop.
That's cool. That's cool. So you've carved out a reputation as a top agent in the luxury and waterfront space. Do you have a secret sauce for winning deals in a market where high-end buyers and sellers have really high expectations?
I am grateful that I realized early on, I don't want to sell 100 homes a year. I want to give my clients exactly what they deserve. I work with less clients so I can be available to them. I want to give them an exceptional experience. I want to be available for them. I want to be a resource for them before I even have that listing signed. I'm not going to say, I'm not giving you my contractors, unless you sign here on the dotted line. I want to be a resource. I want to be their real estate advisor for life. And I want them to feel that before we even go over the paperwork. So I think for me, it's just that I am not going to sell every home that comes to me, and that I want to make sure that I have the time for the clients that I'm taking on.
And that's a good way to do it. I think there's a lot of, perception in real estate that you got to outwork everybody. You got to get every single listing. You got to get every single buyer. But if you do that, you run yourself ragged, and it helps to have a team. But if you're not the best version of yourself, then you can't possibly be the best resource for your clients.
I learned that early. I didn't learn that early on, right? I've sold 50 homes a year. That's not of interest to me. And that's a lot of people want to do that. And they have a lot of staff and they want to do that. That's not what I'm interested in. So I have a sophomore and a junior in high school, and they've got a few more years and then they're going to fly, right? I'm launching them. And I don't want to miss that time. I missed it when they were younger. I'll be the first to admit there's a lot of things I missed. And I was there, but I wasn't present.
Yeah. I'm in the throes of that right now. So I feel that. luxury and waterfront, especially around us here in the kind of Chesapeake region, it's a unique niche. What trends are you seeing in the space right now?
People want lifestyle. So I would say that, people are willing to stretch for the house they want in the location they want. Location is really important to a lot of people. The home, they can make it what they want. If it's done, they're willing to pay a lot of money for it. If it's done the way they want it done. But lifestyle, they want the water. They don't necessarily want to get to have a boat. But they want the great water view, and they want the great kitchen. They want to be able to entertain. And we're still seeing a lot of buyers from outside of Annapolis. DC is still a huge feeder for us. I have a lot of clients moving here from around the country, a lot of clients still buying second homes, because that's really, they see us as not a huge resort town, but, they can come here and they can get everything they can get in a resort town at a little bit of a lower cost sometimes.
You mentioned lifestyle as a major driver in the Lux space. How do you tailor your approach when you're working with these high net worth buyers? Do you sit down with each one of them individually and have those consultations and figure out what they want first before? Or do you kind of go trial by fire and take them to see everything and then kind of whittle it down? What's your approach?
I think it really depends if they're local or they're not local. If they're not local, then I think we need to see a lot of different areas and a lot of different things to really figure out what they want. If they're local, they kind of more or less know what they want or where they want to be. I ask a lot of questions about, what are your lifestyle? What do you like to do when you're not working? How do you envision using this space? Who's going to come visit you? Where do you want to go? What activities do you enjoy? Do you want to be near trails? How important is it that you have deep water and a dock? I think really spending the time to get to know them early on before we even go out and start searching. But then as soon as we go out and start searching, really, really make sure that I, carve out enough time for them, especially those first couple times we're out, to get to know them and spend the time of just listening to what they really, really want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And asking the questions.
Asking the questions. It's not this is what you want to buy and this is your budget. Really, where is your family visiting from? How far away are your kids? Okay, if you're in Severna Park, you're going to be 30 minutes from them in the city. But if you're in Edgewater, you might be closer to an hour. Right. And if you're going to want to see your first grandbaby who's living in Locust Point, but you want to be on the water, then Severna Park's probably your water.
Yeah.
And then really ask, because they don't know that. They have no idea how long it might take them to get there. We just want to be on the water. Okay, well, but where are you going to spend your time? Do you want to, what is your goal for being on the water? Are you going to be home all the time? Then maybe it doesn't matter. But if you're going to be commuting, you're going to be visiting family, do you need to be closer to the airports? How often are you traveling to the airports? Is it this side of the Bay Bridge or is it the other side of the Bay Bridge? And it was shut down the other day for 2 hours for wind.
No, I know. And then you have sometimes I run into this a lot, and I don't know if you do as well, but you have conflicting, not necessarily motives, but wants and needs from, a husband and wife or the people that are buying the house. How do you combat that, or how do you tackle that?
I think the more properties we see, they tend to realize then what they kind of want. And sometimes I'm sleep on it.
Yeah.
Really think about this. Unless we really need to write that offer today and it's due and there's multiples, sleep on it. And then tomorrow morning, you both are going to, either be on the same page or you're not. And if you're not, that's okay. There's going to be one where you're going to be on the same page. Hopefully, maybe not, but I think it doesn't happen that often. I think hopefully when they're at the point where they're looking for that luxury, they're looking for that waterfront, they've kind of decided that what they want. But I have plenty of clients right now that are not on the same page. They haven't found the one.
Yeah.
They haven't found it.
I mentioned buyers relocating from across the country. What do you think draws them to Maryland and specifically our area? And, how's your approach handling long distance transactions? Because that can be a little challenging.
I think a lot of people come back for the Naval Academy. A lot of grads. And so for long distance, I do a lot of FaceTime tours. I really try to ask them, if you know when you're coming to town, let me know as soon as possible so I can block out my calendar for you. We do a lot of FaceTimes. If it's something I really think they need to see, beg them to come in to town. Or I say, is there somebody else here that can see it in person as well? Whether it's a friend, a kid, an adult child, somebody to really see it. And I do a lot of, it's those, not just the simple tours. It's, really taking somebody with me so they can see maybe the basement's not that tall.
Right.
Taking somebody with me so they can really understand what that height looks like. And the outdoor space, doing a lot of tours of outside as well, especially if it's downtown Annapolis. But I think just, Zooms, FaceTime, not just emails and phone calls, really getting face-to-face virtually with them helps a lot.
Well, you've done a really good job of creating a good referral pipeline with both your past clients and agents across the country. And I think a lot of agents struggle with getting referrals. And, I'd love to hear what your approach is to kind of maintaining strong client relationships and maintaining that agent network across the country.
I love on my clients and I love on the agents that refer me. I naturally just keep in touch with people. If I think about them, I reach out. Agents, I network and collaborate with agents around the country a lot. I go to events, whether it's the Compass Retreat or different smaller events. I used to do 6 a.m.ers, which is a 6 a.m., call that used to happen a couple of days a week. I'm no longer doing that. I've moved into some other groups. Just being available, being on screen, getting to know them at retreats, going to events, meeting people around the country, following up, sharing. If I've created something great or if I've had a great event, telling them about it and say, guys, go replicate this event. It was awesome. Here's my playbook. Go do it.
That's really cool.
And I just think collaboration within Compass is huge. And I've taken advantage of that because I enjoy collaborating with like-minded people.
That's really cool because we're not necessarily in a business that is keen on sharing success stories.
Yeah.
Everybody's very competitive. And, even though there's how many licensees are there across the country? A million 5 or something like that. The 10% of the agents are doing 90% of the business. And you have carved out a damn good niche. And, it's nice to hear the collaboration because it's just rare.
It's rare. And I don't understand why.
I think it's a scarcity mindset.
It's a scarcity mindset and it's so competitive. I just feel like if I have an idea or I want to share something, I don't want somebody else to spend the time to recreate something and I just enjoy working off referral.
Yeah.
I mean, if a colleague in DC or a colleague in Northern Virginia or California, Texas, here's something I'd rather help their friend that's moving here than a random stranger that calls me. I don't do the cold lead, that stuff. I don't go after them. I never have. I just work on referral. I find that it makes me happy. Well, it makes me happy.
Plus you have that built-in kind of trust and relationship already because you're getting recommended by somebody else that they know and love and trust. So
it's just like clients, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they're recommending you. You're a client for life. Once you're my client, I'm going to help you. I mean, I had, somebody call me the other day, just about, hey, we bought this home a year and a half ago with the builder and he's saying this and let me jump in and help you. Somebody that is tearing down a house we just built and rebuilding. And they're like, the lights don't seem right. I mean, call me. I'm happy to help you, whether it's a text, I can put you in contact with the right person, but anything home real estate related, I'm your girl.
That's awesome.
I'm your girl.
That's awesome. So for agents listening that want to step up their game, what's one habit, tool, or system that's been a game changer for you?
Be organized. Be organized and make sure you put things on write it down. Put it on your to-do list. You're going to forget it. And stay in touch with people. I think that so many agents sell a home and then they forget about the people and the clients and keep in touch with them. They want to hear from you. You want to hear from them. Maybe some people, over time you just lose touch with, but most of the people really enjoy hearing from you or seeing you. Meet them for a cup of coffee. It will come back. That's cool. Great. And I enjoy it. I don't do it for business. I enjoy it because I want to see how's the house, what renovations have you done? How are your kids? Oh my God, you've had 3 kids in the last 5 years. Dear God, let me bring you ice cream.
Dear God.
So I think organization as a realtor is huge, whether it's your CRM, your finances, that's huge. Client paperwork, keeping your clients organized. I think that is one of the biggest things.
Yeah. Well, let's get into story time.
Oh, good.
All right. Let's talk about a deal that's really tested your skills. Maybe it was something that was super complex, almost fell apart, or, a record breaker. Do you have any stories that pop up, or one in particular that pops up as something challenging?
Yes. I would say the time I was selling a waterfront property in Smyrna Park, and it's a great property. It was on the market for a while. It's during COVID. It's a big house that had not been touched in years. Needed a lot of renovation. Was very custom to the homeowner. Finally got some offers and met with my client, met with my seller. We had everything signed but the settlement date. We had countered the settlement date to the buyer. Everything was signed. The only thing that needed to be initialed was the settlement date. Hand delivered it to the buyer to sign. They were unrepresented. And they needed to initial the settlement date and let me know when it was ready. And I'd come back and pick it up. It was in the middle of COVID. Nobody had they didn't have a scanner. It was they lived in the same neighborhood. So it was easy. Dropped it off to their house. I went home, called the other agent to let him know that we were going with buyer A. We'll let you know if anything changes. 2.5 hours later, my phone rings. It's the seller. He had just spent 2 hours with buyer number 2.
Oh, boy.
In the backyard around the pool. Buyer number 2 did not like that they didn't get the house.
Right.
So buyer number 2 shows up at the property to meet with my seller. Buyer number 2 had a realtor. Realtor did not know. Buyer number 2 and my seller negotiated an entire contract. My seller calls me and asks me to go pick up the contract, the offer from buyer number 1, and that we were not moving forward with them.
Oh, boy. Okay.
So I went to buyer number 1 and I explained that I needed to retrieve the offer that I had dropped off, that they had not signed, had not delivered. Buyer number 1 was not very happy.
Naturally.
And then we went under contract with buyer number 2. I called the realtor and I said, can you please explain to me how this happened? And long story short, buyer number 2 didn't like what they got as an answer. So they went directly to the seller, paid significantly more than buyer number 1, and got the house.
Wow.
It was very challenging because for me, the right thing to do was buyer number 1.
Right.
It was their house to have. They needed to initial the settlement date. And I don't like to go back. I don't go back on my word. And it was really, really tough for me. And my seller was like, nope, does not matter. This is buyer number. We are not selling to buyer number 1. Buyer number 2 is our buyer. I have negotiated everything. The agent is sending it over. Bring it to me and we'll sign it.
Wow.
And buyer number 2 bought the house.
Damn.
It was challenging the entire time. Buyer number 1 still lives in the neighborhood.
Oh, boy. Okay.
Has not moved and is probably still not happy with me.
Yeah. Well, if another agent faced that situation, what kind of advice would you give them based on that experience?
I don't know that there's anything I could have done. You know what? No, I would have gone to buyer number 1's house and not waited for I would have you guys need to sign this right now.
Yeah.
You need to sign this settlement date that you want and initial it right now. And we're ratified and I'm going to take it back versus leaving it with them, which is what they asked me to do.
Right.
They weren't represented. If they had an agent, their agent probably would have been like, this isn't a done deal until it's a done deal, until you're signed.
Right.
So I represented the seller. And the buyer did not have representation. I think if they had representation, they would have been living in that. They would be living in that house. I mean, I feel like I said to them, sign this and get this back. Get this back to us. It's not ratified. But I don't think they realize that really anything can happen until it's ratified. You and I both know another offer can come in that we present to our sellers. Until it is signed, we continue to present offers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Man, that's tough.
It's in my client's best interest.
Yeah.
Right?
That's your job.
Yeah. But having a seller literally show up and meet with or having a buyer show up and meet with my seller without me knowing, and without their agent knowing, they spent 2 hours together.
Little cavalier.
2 hours.
Yeah. Wow. I wish I could say I've never had something like that happen, but I have.
Oh, fun. Shane, do tell.
A similar story. I mean, I've had some very headstrong clients that have been like, now I'm going to do what I need to do to get the house. And at some point, and of course, most of the time I find out after the fact.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, okay, I don't know what to do in this situation. Ultimately we're a conduit. So if both of those parties can come to terms on stuff, great. It just gets awkward when you've already got a signed offer out to another party. But yeah, the unrepresented thing kind of killed it for buyer one. So that's unfortunate, but fun story. Isn't real estate great?
It's great.
We'll do a little bit of rapid fire questions next. Compass is known for being tech forward. We covered that a bunch. Do you have a favorite Compass tool or feature?
I love Compass Collections.
Yes.
I love the search. For, people don't know what the Compass Collection is. It is our search platform. It's all the homes, feeds from Bright MLS, also has the Compass and private exclusives on it coming soon. I love it because I can put my clients in these collections. We can each comment on it. They can request a tour. I can plan tours that way. It is visually pleasing.
Yes.
And it allows me to, see current photos, see old photos from old listings, street views, maps. It's all there. And it's such a great tool for my clients to be able to communicate with me quickly and easily. And it's truly visually pleasing, which is totally my favorite.
There you go. What's the most unusual or extravagant request that you've ever received from a client?
My client's house was on fire and they called me before they called the fire.
Oh, God.
Yeah,
okay.
Before 911, they called me. They said, Betty, our house is on fire. They didn't live in the house. They didn't live in the house. And the contractor called them to tell them that the house was on fire because the contractor had spilled something on the basement floor that had ignited the gas water heater.
Holy
and that
hell.
The beams in the basement were on fire.
Oh, my God.
The clients called me before they called 911. I'm pretty sure that's the best call I've ever gotten. I went to the house, firefight. I called 911, by the way, on my way there. And I got there and the fire department kept going, they called you before they called us. Like, yes, they did. Yes.
They did. Well, I'm their girl.
I am their girl. They called me. Yeah. I mean, my dad's a firefighter. My brother's a firefighter. I'm not a firefighter.
No.
I'm just the real estate advisor. Yeah. That's fun.
Craziest showing or open house story?
Craziest showing or open house story? My goodness gracious. Open house, definitely have had people come through my open house that were either, whether it was a vacant home. Oh, no, I got a good one.
Go on.
Okay. This is a good one. So there was probably a year or two in Silver Spring where this woman would come around to the open houses. And if they were vacant, she would walk out. And if they weren't, she would linger. And we concluded it's because she was looking for prescriptions.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I had an open house once, and this was before I knew what her motive was, but I'd recognized her. And she came down the stairs from being upstairs with lipstick all over her face. And I was like, that's odd. But I remembered it. I was like, oh. And she had signed it as Margot. And I was like, Margot, everything okay? Oh, it's fine. It's fine. And my client called me that night and she was like, Betty, I think somebody's been through my makeup. And I was like, yep, you're right. Mm-hmm. Pretty sure that's accurate. Throw it all away, Liz, and go buy all new makeup and let me know what it costs you. I am absolutely reimbursing you for that. I am pretty sure Margot was going through your makeup. I didn't know at that point it was prescription drugs. I just thought she was a little off.
Yep.
But then I found out within the next couple of weeks by talking to other realtors that this woman she did it regularly. And we got to the point where we spoke with police. And every time she came to an open house, we would just ask her to leave. And she was like, what do you mean? Why am I leaving? And she would sign in with a different name, by the way.
Of course, each time.
Yes. She was actually a nurse. She had been a nurse.
No kidding. Wow.
We did a lot of research. As realtors, we love to research. We knew where she lived, all this stuff. But yes, she literally took my client's makeup and she tried it on.
Amazing. My God. One piece of tech other than your phone.
Yes.
That you can't live without in your business.
Piece of tech. My laptop.
Damn. You side pass. All right. Next question. What's the best piece of advice you've ever received?
Take a deep breath, give it 20, 30 minutes and see what happens. Because your hair could be on fire. And, 10 minutes later, an attorney can call and be like, oh my God, we were reading the wrong contract.
Yeah.
That's not your issue. That's somebody else's. And if I had called my client and sent him, completely derailed something for no reason.
If you weren't in real estate, what would you be doing?
Financial literacy for young adults.
Really?
Yes.
My, tell me more.
There's so many things I'd love to do, but financial literacy, just don't feel like youth and young adults early teens understand budgeting, cash management, putting away for retirement, paying off debt.
Yeah.
They don't understand it. Sometimes they learn about some of it young and they don't get it. And they don't know what's out there. Financial literacy. It's huge. And not just young adults.
Well, we got plenty of old adults.
I mean, it's and older folks. I mean, truly, people in there, they're close to retirement or they are retired and and it can be that they think they can't spend money. And I read a book once, Die With Nothing.
Yes.
Die With Zero.
Die With Zero.
And you know what? Enjoy your money.
My wife is listening to this podcast. She'll have a fucking heart attack. She loves that book.
My husband might too. So Die With Zero. Enjoy your money. Save early on, but enjoy your money. Take the trip. Buy the house. If it makes sense financially, you're not taking the money with you.
You're not.
You're not taking the money with you. Do your best to make sure you have the money. Spend what you have, but you're not taking it with you. My kids, I hope, aren't expecting me to leave them with a bunch of money. I think they'd rather take that trip with me. I hope, or splurge every once in a while.
Yeah. One book, podcast, or resource every dealmaker should check out.
I mean, house cats, right?
Besides the obvious.
Let's see. I mean, Mel Robbins, who doesn't love her podcast? Oh my gosh, I love podcasts.
Yeah.
So I listen to a lot of them. I don't know where I would start with that. Books. Unreasonable Hospitality.
Okay.
Great book. Anybody in the service industry should read it. It is a great book. Or listen to it.
Okay.
Audible.
Love it.
It's awesome.
Love it. Batty, a few things stood out to me. First your mindset around real estate and making it a lifestyle business and not just a transactional one. Love that. Your expertise in negotiating and how you kind of approach that luxury market. Awesome. I think there's a lot of takeaways there. And you've built a strong referral-based business, which I think is the ultimate sign of trust in an industry that needs it more than ever. So for listeners that want to connect with you, where's the best place to reach you?
HelloHome.com at Compass.
Awesome. Do you have any socials that you want to shout out to?
You can find me on Hello Home of Compass on Instagram, Facebook, and I'm Batty at betty.batty@compass.com.
Oh, yeah.
Betty Batty.
Let's go, baby.
You can Google me.
Let's go. All right. So, if you love this episode, don't forget to subscribe, share it with someone who could use these insights. And if you're looking for a top tier agent in Maryland that's not me, Batty and her team, they're a phenomenal option. So give them a call.
Thanks, Shane. It was great.
You're welcome. Thank you.